Hello everyone and welcome to today's session. And today we'll be discussing the theory related to the chapter Principle of Inheritance and Variation. So in today's session we'll discuss NCERT section 4.6, which is sex determination, and this is the part 6 of the lecture. Before starting this lecture, I just want to give you one information that the images, text and other materials used in the presentations are for education purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners. If you are the owner and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathee@itk.ac.in and we shall remove the content immediately. Please note that parts of the content may have been generated using generative AI, which is experimental. So what are the objectives of today's session? So today we'll be discussing the sex determination mechanism. So we will understand the chromosomal basis of sex determination, or you can say genetic basis of sex determination, and we will distinguish between different kind of sex determination mechanism, which are XX and XO, okay, X0, then XX and XY, ZZ, ZW, and haplodiploid system. So we'll talk about these sex determination types or sex determination mechanism. Okay. So what we will be studying today, we'll be studying the sex determination, which is NCERT section 4.6. Then we will summarize this entire lecture. We'll discuss some NCERT based question. In the end, we'll discuss some keynotes. So these keynotes will help you memorize these topics. It will help you memorize the concepts in these topic, okay, sex determination. And then there'll be some information related to the NEET exam. So which topics are important for the NEET exam, and okay, what should be your focus for the exam. In the end, there'll be some interesting questions for you that will enhance your critical thinking ability. Now let's start with this session. So let me first introduce you to the topic sex determination. Now, sex determination mechanism was initially a puzzle for geneticists. So the geneticists, they didn't know how the sex of the offerings, how the sex of the child, how the sex of the progeny is determined. Okay, what factor determines that the offerings will be male or female? So this was a puzzle for the geneticists. Now, early experiments were carried out in insects, and this provided the clue for the sex determination mechanism. Okay, so question can come here. Early experiments were done on which living organisms, or experiments were done on insects? Because insects, they are small, they are easy to culture, they have small lifespan. That's why insects were used. Okay, and they have different sex also, male and the female, that can be easily observed under the microscope as well. Now, what was done? Cytological observations were made in insects that led to the understanding of chromosomal basis of the sex determination. Okay, so what do you mean by cytological observations? Means the cells, they were analyzed under the microscope. The cell structure, the cell morphology, okay, the anatomy of the cell. Okay, they can now look inside the cell, that the cell consists of the nucleus. Within the nucleus, chromosomes are present. They can, you can say, track the movement of the chromosomes. So cytological observations were done in insects, and it led to the understanding of the chromosomal or genetic basis of the sex determination. Now finally, it was concluded that there is some genetic or chromosomal mechanism that determines the sex. Okay, so there is some factor that determines the sex. This factor is what? This factor is related to the chromosomes. So there is a chromosomal mechanism. Chromosomes are involved in determination of the sex. Okay. Now let's talk about Henkin's discovery in 1891. So what was his discovery? So Henkin, he identified specific nuclear structures during the spermatogenesis. So spermatogenesis is what? It is sperm formation. Spermatogenesis occurs in males. Okay, like in humans, spermatogenesis occurs in the testes. Now, Henkin, he identified specific nuclear structure, means structures present within the nucleus during the spermatogenesis. Now, what he observed, that 50% of the sperms received this structure. Okay, means 50% of the sperms consist of this structure, and the other 50% of the sperms did not receive these structures. Okay, and he named this structure as X body. So 50% of the sperm had X body and 50% of the sperm didn't have this X body. Okay. Now, let's study the discovery of the X chromosome now. So till now we know that X body was, you can say, discovered by Henkin. Okay, he said X body is present in 50% of the sperms. So now X chromosomes, how they were discovered? Later scientists identify this X body as the chromosome. So this X body was nothing, it was the chromosome which was present in the sperms. So this X body was later named as the X chromosome. That's why the name X chromosome. Okay, now the structure X body was renamed as X chromosome. Okay, so from the X body came the name X chromosome. Now, this became crucial in understanding the sex determination. Okay, now this X chromosome was discovered, and this was very significant. This was crucial in understanding the sex determination, how the sex of the offerings are determined. Okay, so this led to the discovery of sex chromosome versus autosome concepts as well. So you know, like in humans also, you have autosomes and the sex chromosome. So in any organism, you have autosomes and the sex chromosome. In humans, you have in total 46 chromosome or 23 pair of chromosome. Out of 23, you have 22 autosomes and there is one pair of sex chromosome. Okay, so this work done by Henkin and other scientists, this led to the discovery of X chromosome also, and this also led to the distinction between two types of chromosomes, autosomes and sex chromosomes. So now we know X and Y, they are the sex chromosome, and rest are the autosomes. Okay, the sex chromosomes are involved in determination of the sex. Now let's talk about different sex determination mechanisms. So there are different types of sex determination mechanism. We'll discuss that. Okay, so these are the different type of sex determination mechanism. We'll talk about these. Okay, so we'll talk about XX and XY type of sex determination mechanism, in which the females have a pair of X chromosome and males, they are X and Y. Examples are humans and Drosophila. Then we'll also talk about ZZ and ZW type of sex determination mechanism. Okay, where the females are Z, consist of Z and W chromosome, and males have Z and Z chromosome. Okay, this type of sex determination mechanism occurs in birds and moths. Okay. So here you can see they have given the name Z and W instead of X and Y. So this is just to avoid confusion. That's why they have given the name Z and W instead of X and Y. And then in certain insects, in some insects like grasshopper, XX and X0 type of sex determination system is present. where the females have a pair of X chromosome and males have only one X chromosome. That's why we are writing X and 0, because there is only one X chromosome. There is no Y chromosome here in the grasshoppers. Okay. Now we'll also talk about in the end haplodiploid system, that exists in honeybees. And here the females are diploid and males are haploid. That's why haplodiploid sex determination mechanism. Now first let's talk about the XX and X0 type of sex determination mechanism. So this is common in insects like grasshoppers. Okay, here all the eggs, all the female gamete, the ovum contains X chromosome, okay, in addition to the autosomes. So autosomes are always present. Okay, autosomes and sex chromosome both are present in the living organisms. So insects also consist of autosomes and the sex chromosome. The eggs which are haploid, the gametes, usually gametes are haploid. So they have only one set of chromosome. Okay, so all the eggs which are produced in the insects such as grasshopper, this will contain X chromosome along with the autosomes. And some of the sperms, okay, some of the sperm carry the X chromosomes and the other sperms do not carry the X chromosome. Okay, the two types of sperms are being produced here and only one type of egg is being produced here. So all the eggs consist of X chromosome along with the autosomes. But the sperms, two types of sperms are being produced. Half of the sperm will contain X chromosome and half of the sperm doesn't contain X chromosome. Okay, clear? Now, sex determination is based on sperm type fertilizing the egg. Which type of sperm fertilizes the egg? This determines the sex of the, you can say, progeny or the offerings. Which type of sperm means sperm carrying X chromosome or sperm which doesn't consist of the X chromosome. So we'll understand this using a diagram. Okay, flowchart. So eggs, the female gamete, if this egg is fertilized by the sperm consisting of X chromosome, it will develop into female offspring. Because females have X and X, they have a pair of X chromosome. Now if eggs are fertilized by sperms which doesn't consist of X chromosome, then it will develop into male offerings. So males are X0. They have only X chromosome. Now one thing here to remember is that males and females have different chromosome numbers here. So males have one chromosome less as compared to the female, because males have X0, they have one less X chromosome. So number of chromosome in females are more as compared to males. Clear? Because males are X0, females are X and X. So males have less number of chromosome as compared to females. Example is grasshopper, where males have only one X chromosome and females have a pair of X chromosome. So males are X0 and females are X and X. Clear? Here you can see how the sex is being determined. Sex is determined by the type of the sperm which fertilizes the egg. So here you can see this is the X0 type of sex determination system. Clear? In the diploid cell, X and X condition will be there. This will be female and the male will be X and 0. This in the case of diploid nuclei, means in diploid cell. Then it will form the gametes. The gametes are haploid, they are produced by meiosis. So in the case of female, only one type of gamete will be produced. All the eggs will contain X chromosome only. So this is female homogamety, means females are producing only one type of egg here. This is homogamety. So females are homogametic. Males are producing two kinds of sperms. Okay, half of the sperm will have X chromosome, half of the sperm will doesn't consist of the X chromosome. This is a kind of male heterogamety. Males are producing two kind of sperms. Now fertilization will occur. Fertilization is always random, and the zygote will be formed. If the egg is fertilized by the sperm having X chromosome, it will develop into female offspring. If the egg is fertilized by the sperm which doesn't consist of X chromosome, it will develop into male. So this is X0 sex determination system. Now let's talk about another system, which is XY type of sex determination system. So this is found in certain insects and mammals, including humans. So in some of the insects, XX and X0 system is also present, but in other type of insects and mammals, XY type of sex determination system exists. So here the males, they consist of autosomes plus the X and Y chromosomes. Then the females, they consist of the autosomes plus the X and X chromosomes. Okay. Now here the Y chromosome is smaller than the X chromosome. So Y chromosome is always smaller than the X chromosome. So this type of system also exists in humans. Here the males are XY and the females are XX. Now let's talk about male heterogamety. Okay. Now when the male produce two types of gametes, this is known as male heterogamety. Now we have discussed the X0 system. In this system also males were heterogametic. They were producing two kinds of gametes. So half of the sperms, they were with the X chromosome and half of the sperm were without the X chromosome. So this is male heterogamety, which is seen in the X0 system. And male heterogamety is also seen in the XY system, because males are X and Y. They are producing two kind of sperms. Half of the sperm will have X chromosome, half of the sperm will have Y chromosome. So again question can come from here, that in which type of sex determination system, or in which type of sex determination mechanism males are heterogametic. Okay, here males are heterogametic, so females will be homogametic. In both of these cases, in both of these sex determination mechanism, females are homogametic, means all the eggs will contain only X chromosome. Only one type of eggs are being produced. This XY type of sex determination system is common in humans and Drosophila. Okay, Drosophila also consists of XY type of sex determination system, and humans as well. X0 is present in grasshoppers. So here you can see in this figure 1.4.12, this is showing you the X and Y chromosomes in the males and the females. So males consist of X and Y chromosome, and the Y chromosome is smaller as compared to the X chromosome. Y chromosomes have less genes also as compared to the X chromosome. Females have a pair of X chromosome. Okay, so here males are heterogametic. Males are producing two kind of gametes here, two kind of sperms. Similarly, Drosophila also, males are XY, females are XX. Okay, clear? So this is an example of male heterogamety. So this is determination of sex by chromosomal differences. Now, both in humans and in Drosophila, the female has a pair of XX chromosomes, means the females are homogametic, and the males, they have XY chromosomes and they are heterogametic. Now let's talk about female heterogamety. The female heterogamety is seen in birds. So birds have different kind of sex determination mechanism. Okay, so female heterogamety is found in birds. Here the females are producing two kinds of gametes. They are producing two kinds of eggs. So this is found in birds and some other organisms. Okay, here the female has one Z and W chromosomes. So instead of XY chromosome, we are just writing Z and W chromosome just to avoid the confusion. So the females have ZW chromosomes, means the eggs two kinds of eggs are being produced here. Half of the eggs will contain Z chromosome, half of the eggs will contain W chromosome. And the males are homogametic here because males have a pair of Z chromosomes. So all these sperms which will be produced, they will have Z chromosomes only. And the total number of chromosome number is same in the both sexes. So in the XY type of sex determination system and in ZZ and ZW type of sex determination system, in these two systems, there are equal number of chromosomes in males and females. But in XX and X0 type of sex determination system, males have less chromosome as compared to females. So here you can see this is the figure 4.12c. So in many birds, females has a pair of dissimilar chromosomes. So you can see the females have Z and W chromosome. W chromosome is shorter as compared to the Z chromosome. And the males have two similar ZZ chromosomes. Okay. So this is ZZ-ZW type of sex determination system which is found in birds. Here females are heterogametic, males are homogametic. Now let's talk about sex determination system in humans in detail. What are the sex chromosomal basics here? Now humans, you know, they have 23 pair of chromosomes, means they have 46 chromosomes. Okay, 22 pairs are autosomes, and these autosomes, the number of autosomes are same in both males and females. So both males and females, they have 22 pairs of autosomes. Females have a pair of X chromosomes, so they have X and X chromosomes. Males have X and Y chromosome. Now how the gametes are formed? Okay, so males, they are heterogametic, they are producing two kinds of sperms. So male produce two types of sperms. 50% of the sperm will carry X chromosome and 50% of the sperm will carry Y chromosome. Okay, females produce only one type of egg which have the X chromosome only. Okay, now how the fertilization occurs and how the sex is being determined. After the gamete formation, what happens? Next is fertilization, and after fertilization, the zygote is formed, which is unicellular diploid structure. Now there is an equal probability of fertilization with X or the Y sperm. So the egg, which consists of the X chromosome, this can be either fertilized by the sperm having the X chromosome, or it can be fertilized with the sperm having the Y chromosome. Okay, so there is a 50% chance that the sperm carrying X chromosome will fertilize the egg, and there is 50% chance the sperm containing Y chromosome can fertilize the egg. Okay, so if the sperm which carrying the X chromosome, okay, this fertilizes the ovum which consists of the X chromosome, female offspring will be produced which will have a pair of X chromosome along with the autosomes. Now if the sperm carrying the Y chromosome, it fertilizes the ovum, then the zygote which is formed, that will develop into male child because it will be having X and Y chromosome. Okay. Now one thing here to remember is that the sperm determines the sex of the offsprings. So it is the male who is determining the sex of the offsprings in case of humans. But usually females are blamed. Okay, females are usually blamed if the female give birth to a female child. Usually females are blamed, but actually it is the male who determines the gender, who determines the sex of the child, because males are producing two kinds of gametes. Yeah. Now there are some social issues also. What are the social issues? Okay, so you know that there is a 50% probability of male or female child in each pregnancy. Okay, because there is a 50% chance that the sperm carrying X chromosome that can fertilize the egg, or there is another 50% chance that the sperm carrying the Y chromosome can fertilize the egg. Okay, so there is that's why there is a 50% probability that in the pregnancy, or you can say there is an equal chance that the zygote will develop into male or female. Clear? Now the sex determination is based on the genetic factors. Okay. And the women are wrongly blamed for the female births. So sex determination is based on chromosomes. Okay, means it has a genetic basis. But women are wrongly blamed for the female births because woman is giving birth. So people used to say that women are responsible for giving birth to the female child. But actually it is the male who determines the sex of the child. So this social ostracism is based on false notion, and this still persists. So still people doesn't know that male is responsible for determining the sex in case of the humans. Whenever in any system, okay, if the males are heterogomatic, they will determine the sex. Or you can say in any system where either the female or the male, anyone is heterogomatic, the heterogomatic individual will determine the sex. Homogomatic individual will not determine the sex. Only the heterogomatic individual will determine the sex because it is producing two kinds of gametes. So in XY system, males are heterogomatic, so they determine the sex or gender of the child. Now let's talk about sex determination in honeybees. Okay, so this is different from rest of the sex determination system that we have discussed. So in honeybees, what kind of sex determination system is present? So in honeybees, haplodiploid sex determination system exists. Now let's discuss this system. Now here the sex determination is based on number of the sets of the chromosomes. How many sets of chromosomes are present? Whether there is a single set of chromosomes, whether there is double set of chromosomes, means whether the cell is haploid or whether it is diploid. Okay, whether the cell is N or it is 2N. The ploidy of the cell determines the sex here. How many sets of chromosomes are present in the cell? So here what happens in honeybees, the egg, fertilized egg, develops into females. So females, which are the queens and the workers. Queens and workers, they are the females. So how the females develops? So females develop from fertilized egg, means they develop after the fertilization. So females will be diploid. They have two sets of chromosomes. Clear? So queens and the worker bees, they are female. They are diploid because they develop after the fertilization. In fertilization, what happens? There is the fusion of the male and the female gamete, which results to the formation of unicellular diploid structure, which is known as zygote. Zygote will further develop into the organism. Clear? Now, how do the males develop? So males are the drones. Males develop without fertilization. So here what happens? The unfertilized egg develop into the males through parthenogenesis. So what is parthenogenesis? Development of the organism without fertilization. So if something is being developed without fertilization, it will be haploid. It will have only n number of chromosomes. So here the males have half the number of chromosomes as compared to females. Okay. So if females have 2n number of chromosomes, males will have only n number of chromosomes because they are developing from unfertilized egg. Eggs are always haploid. Egg is a gamete. Eggs are n. They have one set of chromosomes. So without fertilization, males are developed, and so males are also haploid here. Okay. So males have half the number of chromosome compared to the females. So this is what is haplodiploid sex determination system. Males are haploid, females are diploid. Now let's talk about the chromosome numbers in males and the females in case of honeybees. The females, which are the queens and the workers, they are diploid and they have 32 number of chromosomes. So how much chromosomes will be there in the males? So males are haploid. So it's okay. So they will have 16 number of chromosomes. So males, which are the drones, they are haploid with 16 number of chromosomes. Now that's why this system is known as haplodiploid sex determination system. Here the male produce sperms through mitosis. So usually the gametes, the sperm, they are produced through meiosis, but this is an exception here. Here the gametes, here the sperms are being produced through mitosis because males, they themselves are haploid. So they cannot undergo meiosis. So here the male gametes, which is the sperm, it is produced by mitosis. This is also very important here. So questions can come here. Write an exception where the gametes are formed, okay, by mitosis instead of meiosis. So answer will be honeybees. Okay. Now you can see in this image, this is sex determination in the honeybees. So here the parents are listed here. So parents are female and a male. Okay, in sexual reproduction, two parents are involved. Biparental condition is there. Females have 32 number of chromosomes. Males have 16 number of chromosomes. Clear? Okay. Females by meiosis, they produce the eggs. Okay. So eggs are produced. They will have half the number of chromosomes because by meiosis, the chromosome number are reduced to half. Okay. So gametes, the female eggs, they will be haploid. They will consist of 16 number of chromosomes. Now males, they develop parthenogenetically. They develop without the fertilization. So the unfertilized egg develop into males, which are the drones. So male will also consist of 16 number of chromosomes. They are haploid. They have n number of chromosomes. They have only one set of chromosomes. Okay. Now let's talk about the males. Males through mitosis, they produce the sperms. Sperm will also consist of 16 number of chromosomes. Now you can see female develop after the fertilization. Clear? So this is the egg. This egg is fertilized by the sperm. And after fertilization, females are developed. And this female will have 32 chromosomes. Okay. So half of the chromosomes came from the male gamete, half of the chromosome came from the female gamete, and in the zygote there will be 32 chromosomes now. So if there is 32 chromosome, it will develop into female. If there is 16 chromosome, it will develop into male. So males are developing through parthenogenesis. Okay, means they are developing without fertilization. This is sex determination system in honeybees. This is known as haplodiploid sex determination system. This is also very important here. Okay. Clear? So we talked about the sex determination system today. Let's summarize this entire lecture now. Okay. So we discussed about XX and XY system. So here the females are XX, males are XY. Example, you should remember humans and most mammals, they have XX and XY type of sex determination system. What is the key feature of this system? Y chromosomes. Okay, these Y chromosomes which are present in the males, these Y chromosome consist of the SRY gene, which is very important for the male development. So this SRY gene is only present in it is only present on the Y chromosome, and it is not present on the X chromosome. And this SRY gene is responsible for development of the male. Female lacks this SRY gene. Okay, males only have this SRY gene. So this SRY gene is responsible for male development present on the Y chromosome. And here the males are heterochromatic. So you should remember this: in which system males are heterochromatic, in which system females are heterochromatic. Question usually comes from here. Then we talked about XX and X0 type of sex determinant system. Here females are XX. They have a pair of X chromosome. Males are X0. This is present in grasshoppers. Here the males have only X chromosome. This is the key feature of this system. Okay, here there is no Y chromosome is present here. And the males are heterochromatic here also. Then we talked about ZZ and ZW system. Here the W chromosome determines the female development. Okay. Here the sex of the, you can say, chick is determined by the female instead of the male. So usually in XY and X0 system, males determine the sex of the child, but in case of ZZ and ZW, female determine the sex of the offerings or sex of the chicks, because this system is present in the birds. Okay, here the females are ZW, they are heterochromatic. So here females are heterochromatic, males are homochromatic. Okay, example is birds and in some reptiles as well. Females are heterochromatic, so females will determine the sex of the chick here. Then we talked about the haplodiploid system. Here the females are diploid, they have 2n number of chromosomes. Males are haploid, they have n number of chromosomes. This is present in bees, ants and wasps. And here, what is the key feature? Female develop from fertilized egg and males develop from unfertilized egg. Okay, here the males develop from unfertilized egg. Okay, now let's discuss some NCERT based question, okay, from these topics. So these questions are from this topic, sex determination mechanism. So first question is, how does the XX-X0 system of sex determination work in the grasshoppers? Okay, so what would be the answer to this question? Let's have a look at the answer. So females have 2 X chromosomes. So they have a pair of X chromosomes. And the males have only 1 X chromosome. Okay, males are represented by X and 0. So what happens is 0 indicate the absence of the second sex chromosomes. Here the males are heterochromatic, females are homochromatic. Male will determine the sex of the child here. Okay, the type of sperm which fertilizes the egg. Okay, on this basis the sex of the child is determined, sex of the offerings are determined. So okay, so here the sex is determined by the presence or absence of the second X chromosome. If the X chromosome is present, then okay, what it will develop into the you can say female. If there is no X chromosome, it will develop into the male. Okay, if the sperm having X chromosome fertilizes the egg, it will develop into female offering. If the sperm having if the sperm which doesn't have the X chromosome, it fertilizes the egg, it will develop into the male child. Now what is the next question here? You have to explain the XX and XY system of sex determination in the humans. So let's have a look at the answer of this question. The females have 2 X chromosome, means XX condition is there. Males have 1 X and 1 Y chromosome here. This Y chromosome consists of the SRY gene, which is responsible for male development. This gene is absent in the females. Okay, Y chromosome carries the SRY gene, and the presence of Y chromosome determines the male sex. So here, males are heterochromatic and they determine the sex of the child. Because here half of the sperms consist of X chromosome, half of the sperm consists of the Y chromosome. And the type of sperm which fertilizes the egg determine the sex of the child. So you can see in this image again, males, they have XY chromosome. Y chromosome is shorter as compared to X chromosome. Females have X and X chromosome. Similarly in Drosophila also, okay, XY type of sex determination is seen. Here the males are heterochromatic and male determine the sex of the child. Next question, how does the ZZ and ZW system work in the birds? So what will be the answer to this question? Okay, here the males have 2 Z chromosomes. So males are homogametic here. They are producing only one kind of sperm, having Z chromosome only. Females have one Z and one W chromosome. So females are Z and W. They are producing two kinds of eggs here. Half of the eggs will have Z chromosome, half of the eggs will have W chromosome. So here the female determine the sex of the chick in case of the birds. So this is opposite to XX and XY system. Clear? Now here the W chromosome determines the female sex. So this type of sex determination system, this is seen in birds. Here the female has a pair of dissimilar chromosomes. So females are Z and W. W is smaller as compared to Z chromosome. And the males have two similar ZZ chromosomes. Next question, what is unique about haplodiploid sex determination in honeybees? So what will be the correct answer here? Now what happens in haplodiploid system? Females, they are diploid because they developed from the fertilized egg. They have 32 number of chromosomes. Males, they develop from the unfertilized egg, so they develop parthenogenetically. So they are haploid. They consist of 16 number of chromosomes. Okay. Now no specific sex chromosomes are involved here. So you can see here, this is a feature of haplodiploid system. Here no specific sex chromosome, X chromosome or Y chromosome or Z or W chromosome, nothing is involved. Here the sex is determined by the set of number of the chromosomes. Okay, or number of the set of chromosomes. How many set of chromosomes are present? One set of chromosome, two sets of chromosomes. So this is the sex determination in honeybee. Females are diploid, males are haploid. Female produce eggs through meiosis. So these eggs, they are haploid. Okay. And the males, they develop from this unfertilized egg. Males produces sperms through mitosis. This is also a feature of haplodiploid system. And then the egg and the sperm, they fuse together to give rise to female, which will be diploid. Now let's discuss some keynotes related to these topics. So what is the overview of the sex determination system? We talked about 4 sex determination system here. We talked about XX and XY, ZZ, ZW, XX, X0 and haplodiploid system. So you should remember, okay, that about the males and the females, whether the males have a pair of X chromosome or they have Z and W chromosome. Okay, so in each type of sex determination system, you should remember, you can say, which sex chromosome is present in females and the males. Then you should remember the examples also. Okay, haplodiploid system is different. Here there is no sex chromosome involved. Okay, we talked about XX and XY system in the humans. So thing here to remember is that females have X and X chromosome, males have XY chromosome. SRY gene is located on Y chromosome. What is the key function of SRY gene? Helps in the male sex determination. Okay, there is a TDF factor also on the Y chromosome. Inheritance, Y chromosomes is inherited from the father only. Okay, so if you talk about the inheritance, Y chromosome is always inherited by the father. So the father will pass on the Y chromosome to only the sons, not to the daughters. So you should remember this concept. Then examples are humans and Drosophila, and there are some disorders also related to the Y chromosome, like Turner syndrome. In Turner syndrome, the person lack the Y chromosome. In Klinefelter syndrome, a person have, you can say, an extra X chromosome. In Turner syndrome, there is, you can say, a lack of X chromosome here. In Klinefelter syndrome, there is additional X chromosome here. Let's talk about ZZ-ZW system. So here the females have ZW chromosome, males have ZZ chromosome. So here males are homogametic, females are heterogametic. Female determine the sex here. Okay, examples are bird, butterflies and moths. Inheritance, W chromosome determine the female sex here. Okay. It is reverse of XX and XY chromosome. Remember this. Here the homogametic sex is male, heterogametic sex is female. So this table is very important. All of these are very important. We talked about XX and X0 system also. Again, females have XX chromosome, males have a single X chromosome only. Examples are grasshopper and bugs. Inheritance, male receives only X chromosome. So males have only one X chromosome. And here the male determines the sex of the chromosomes here, because males are heterogametic here. They are producing two kinds of sperms. Here there is no Y chromosome present. Remember this. This is a special note related to this type of sex determination mechanism. There is no Y chromosome present here. And the male produces the sperm having X chromosome, or the sperm which doesn't consist of the X chromosome. Haplodiploid system. Here the females are diploid, males are haploid. Examples are honeybee and ants. Female develop from fertilized egg, males develop from unfertilized egg. The queen bee, which is the female, they lay both fertilized and unfertilized eggs. And the unfertilized egg develop into the males, which are the drones. So they develop from the unfertilized egg. Okay, now what are the important points for the NEET exam? Clear? So you should know the role of X by A ratio in the sex determination system. So this is also a kind of sex determination system, X by A. Okay, number of sex chromosomes divided by the number of the autosomes which are present. Okay, we'll talk about this later. Then sex-linked inheritance, we'll talk about this also, color blindness and hemophilia. Okay, question can come from these genetic disorders. We'll talk about all of these in our next session also. Then Hollandic traits, they are known as Y-linked traits. So traits which are linked to Y chromosome, they are known as the Hollandic traits. They are only present in the males. Okay, you should know about the bar bodies also. They are inactive X chromosome in the females. Okay, so this term you should remember, bar bodies. These are nothing but they are inactive X chromosomes in the females. Okay, then you should know something about line hypothesis. So this is related to X chromosome inactivation. So sometimes the X chromosome become inactivated. Okay, then what is meta female? It has 3 X chromosomes. This is meta female. Female usually have only 2 X chromosomes. They have a pair of X chromosome. If there is one additional X chromosome, this is known as the meta female. Now it is gynandromorphs, organism showing both male and female characteristics. This is gynandromorphs. Okay, clear? Then there are some sex limited traits like milk production. This occurs in the females, and beard growth. This occurs in the males. So this is some additional information for you. Now some important notes for the NEET exam. So you should focus on the human sex determination system. So question can come from here. Question can also come from ZZ and ZW system. Okay, and the other type of sex determination mechanism. You should know the role of SRY gene. You should understand the sex-linked inheritance. Okay. You should remember the chromosomal abnormalities as well. So we'll talk about chromosomal abnormalities in detail in the next session as well. Okay, when we'll talk about the genetic disorders. You should know the examples of each type of sex determination system. You should know the difference between homogametic and heterogametic sex. The questions can come from here. You should remember the unique feature of haplodiploid system. And you should know the significance of bar body and line hypothesis, which is involved in the inactivation of the X chromosome. Bar bodies was inactivated X chromosomes in the female. Okay. So you should practice the diagrams that we have discussed today. Okay, you should memorize the examples. You should understand the inheritance pattern. Which organism, either the male or the female, which is determining the sex of the offerings. You should focus on genetic disorders. We'll discuss this in the next session in detail. You should know the evolutionary significance of different systems as well. Okay, why this different sex determination mechanism evolved. So these are some interesting questions for you. First question is, in honeybees, unfertilized egg develop into males while fertilized egg develop into females. Okay. Now, what makes this haplodiploid system unique compared to other sex determination systems? So, haplodiploid system, they doesn't consist of the sex chromosomes. Here, the sex is determined by the set of chromosomes, the number of chromosomes. Next question: birds and butterfly use ZZZW system, whereas females are heterochromatic. How does this fundamentally differ from the XXXY system found in the mammals? So this is a very interesting question. You should know the difference between these two systems. Then another question is: grasshopper use XXX0 system where males lack second X chromosome. How do organisms maintain proper gene expression with this missing chromosome? So in males, the chromosome number is less as compared to females in case of grasshoppers. So males, they lack one X chromosome. So number of chromosomes are actually less in males. So still how the males, they maintain proper gene expression with this missing X chromosome. Okay, so these are some interesting questions that you should think over. This will enhance your critical thinking ability. Okay, so now we have discussed the theory. We will now discuss the DPP related to these topics. So let's discuss this first question. What is the first question here? In X0 type of sex determination, which is found in grasshoppers, which of the following is true regarding males and females? Okay, which is the correct statement here? Males have 2 X chromosomes. Females have 1 X chromosome. Males have 1 X chromosome and the females have 2 X chromosomes. And the last option is both male and females have the same number of autosomes. So what will be the correct answer here? So X0 type of sex determination system, this is seen in grasshoppers. In grasshopper, what happens? The males, they have X0, females have XX. Here the male produces 2 kind of gametes. They produce 2 kind of sperms. So what should be the answer? The answer here will be option number C. Males have only 1 X chromosome and females have 2 X chromosomes. Then next, which type of sex determination is observed in birds? So they are talking about birds. Okay. Options are XY system with male heterogamety. Then ZW system with female heterogamety, X0 system with male heterogamety, and haplodiploid system. What will be the correct answer here? Which kind of sex determination mechanism is observed in birds? So answer will be second. This is the correct answer. ZW system with female heterogamety. Okay, here the females are heterochromatic. Females are producing 2 kind of eggs here. Half of the eggs will have Z chromosome, half of the eggs will have W chromosomes. Okay, so here the female determines the sex of the chick. Clear? So option number second or option number B is the correct answer. Next question: in humans, what determines the sex of the offsprings during the fertilization? So they are talking about the humans. Humans have XY type of sex determination. Males are have X and Y chromosome. Females have a pair of X chromosome. Males are heterochromatic here. Males are producing two kinds of gametes. Half of the sperm will have X chromosome, half of the sperm will have Y chromosome. So what are the options? The ovum contributes either X or Y chromosome. Next option, sperm contributes either X or Y chromosome. Next, third option is both parents contribute equally to the sex determination, and fourth is the autosome determines the sex. Alright, the correct answer will be option number B. The sperm contributes either X or Y chromosomes. The males have X and Y chromosomes. Half of the sperm will have X chromosome, half of the sperm will have Y chromosome. The next, in honeybees, the drones, which are the males, develop from fertilized egg and are diploid, unfertilized egg and are haploid, fertilized egg and are haploid, and unfertilized egg and are diploid. What will be the correct answer here? You can see option number B and option number C. Option number B and option number D are a bit related here. Both are saying unfertilized egg. But the difference is that option number B is saying unfertilized egg and are haploid. D is saying unfertilized egg which are diploid. So the males, they develop from unfertilized eggs and they are haploid. They have half the number of chromosomes as compared to the females. Now next question, which statement about XY sex determination system is correct? So they are talking about XY sex determination system which is present in humans and the Drosophila. So what will be the correct answer here? Let's have a look at the options. Females are heterochromatic. Males have two different sex chromosomes. Autosomes differ between males and females. And last option, all gametes from males carry the Y chromosome. What will be the correct answer here? So here the correct answer is option number B. Males have two different sex chromosomes. So males are XY, half of the sperm will have X chromosome, half of the sperm will have Y chromosome. Okay, this is clear. So let's submit the answers. Clear, so all our answers are correct. Okay, for the first question, option number C is the correct answer. For B, option number 2, ZY system is present in the birds. Okay, then question number 3, option number B is correct. The sperm contributes either X or Y chromosome. Question number 4, option number B, B is the correct answer. Unfertilized eggs. So males are they develop from unfertilized egg and they are haploid. And question number 5, the answer for question number 5 was option number B, males have two different sex chromosomes. Okay, so with this, we end this session. I hope this session was quite knowledgeable for you. Now we'll meet you in the next session. Thank you all for listening.